Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, I'm doing well, thanks. How do I pronounce your name?
You can call me Egg.
Ek?
Yes.
How's it going, Ek?
It's going okay.
Awesome. Where are you
I,
from?
I'm from Thailand. I just finished my breakfast and have this class.
Oh, fantastic. Welcome to class.
Yeah.
That's great.
And
What part? Go ahead.
what's your name?
You were watching it?
No, I mean, what's your name?
Oh, my name is Farhan.
Farhan.
Farhan, yeah. What part of Thailand do you live in?
I live in Bangkok, the
Bangkok.
capital of Thailand.
Yeah, it's a great city. I've heard a lot about it.
Have you ever
Uh,
been to Thailand?
I've never been to Thailand, no, unfortunately. But I've heard great things. I've heard about. I mean, I really enjoy Thai food, but I haven't visited Thailand, unfortunately. Thai food actually is very popular here, so a lot of people know about it.
And which part of the US are you living in?
So I live in a city called Madison. Madison is in the state of Wisconsin. So I'm about 2.5 hours from Chicago. So Chicago is really the nearest big city for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's awesome, Eka. Or Ek, I'm really glad to have you in my class. And how long have you been studying English on Colingo?
This is my second week, but
Nice. So,
uh, but before I joined Colingo, I have been studying English for almost 2 years.
wow, that's great. I think your English is really good.
Yeah. But my main obstacle is I always feel nervous when I talk to a native speaker.
Uh-huh. No, you don't have to feel nervous here. If you're in my class, you just feel 100% relaxed.
Okay, I
Yeah.
try.
Yeah, no worries. One of the things that, for me, whenever English, I didn't have to learn from, I learned English from my parents. It wasn't difficult for me, but for other languages, I learned other languages in high school, in college, in the university level, and I had the same problem. I mean, I would feel very nervous at the beginning, for example talking to a native speaker. Are they going to understand me? Are they going to be able to give me an answer? Am I saying everything correctly? Right? Um, we have the same. Everybody who starts with a new language and starts to speak in that new language has those problems at the beginning. So it's nothing to be nervous about. Trust me.
Okay,
Yeah.
and how many languages do you speak?
I speak four languages. I can understand it two more, but I speak four fluently.
Uh, so,
Yeah.
and would you call yourself polyglot?
I would. I mean, I guess I can become. I think I'm a polyglot because uh, speaking, writing, reading, understanding, I can do four languages. So I think that's a polyglot level. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
for languages is a lot.
Yeah, sometimes honestly I get confused because for example, with my parents I speak in one language. With my friends I speak in English. Some of them I speak in Spanish. I have lots of Spanish friends. And then with my girlfriend I speak in Farsi, which is the language of Iran. And also we speak in English and we speak in, I mean, everything is a mix, you know? We don't have there's nobody that I speak to besides my parents. There's nobody that I speak in just one language with.
Okay.
Everybody else is a mix. So that's it's actually really fun um, to have that situation. But Thai is one of my professors in university was a specialist in Thai language. She studied in Bangkok, I think, and she lived in Thailand for a few years. It's a very interesting language. I like the way you guys write Thai is a very unique script, right?
Yes, that's right.
Is it similar to Cambodian or Burmese, or is it different script?
I would say it is similar to Cambodian Laos.
Uh-huh, Cambodian laws, but not to Burmese.
No, not it's not similar to Burmese.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. That's great. You know, I saw a Thai movie called Ong Bak.
Ah, yeah, Ombak.
Everybody knows, I think, Ong Bak, but it was very funny at the beginning of when I was first watching the movie. I didn't realize that it was from Thailand. I thought maybe it was from Vietnam or another country. And then when my friend was there, my friend speaks Thai, so he told me, "No, man, you're crazy. This is Thailand." And
Okay.
it was a great movie. I mean, Muay Thai is it popular in Thailand, or is it just something in the movies?
It's Muay Thai is popular for foreigners, but it's not popular for Thais.
Hmm. What do native Thai people practice?
Uh, most of us just like shopping and learning English.
Nice. So not a big focus on the martial arts then.
No, for us, Muay Thai is considered an old-fashioned martial art, and we don't like it.
Oh, really? Wow, that's interesting. It's great to get that perspective from someone who lives in their country, because if you asked a normal American, they probably would think that Muay Thai is very popular everywhere in Thailand.
I know,
Yeah,
that's not true.
yeah, yeah. Hey Heidi, welcome back.
Hello, nice to see you again.
Yeah, well, nice to see you as well. And let's see. So I'll give us a couple more minutes, but actually, you guys are here, so let me start with the question that I had for this lesson. So in this lesson, we are looking at the present perfect, right? But before we get to that, the topic that we're going to be discussing, one of the things that we really focus on in this digital age, right? In this digital age of websites and reviews and emails and Facebook, social media, one of the biggest things that restaurants and businesses and shopping centers and really anything that wants to have popularity, right, now goes online, right? If you want to be popular, if you want to have a business that is popular, you would want to have some kind of a presence on the internet, right? So have you guys, maybe before going to a restaurant, before going to a new city, a new hotel, a new part of the country, or even just to go shopping, have you guys ever visited websites to read reviews of what other people say about those places? Eka, have you ever seen that?
Yes, and I always do that. Most of the time, I just go to TripAdvisor and search for the restaurant name or the place that I plan to go. But most of the time, I agree with the reviews on the website. But sometimes I totally disagree with it,
Hmm.
especially the last time that I tried to find the best Thai restaurant in Bangkok, and when I went there, Thai food there was not authentic Thai food.
Really?
Yeah.
And so people were saying in the reviews that it was authentic?
Yes, and most people, especially foreigners who came to Thailand, wrote that it was the best Thai restaurant in Bangkok.
Wow. But when you went there, you realized that was not the case, right?
No,
Yeah.
it wasn't authentic, and the ingredient that they used were not good. They used cheap ingredient to cook.
Oh, wow. So, do you think somebody who maybe if I came to that restaurant, I would maybe not know either, right?
I don't think you would know because you are not Thai.
Yeah, right. So do you think this restaurant is popular mainly because they have a lot of foreigners coming there?
Yes, I would say so. And this restaurant has about 8 branches all over the world. Its name is Blue Elephant.
Uh-huh. I have not heard of it, but just about a month and a half ago, about 6, 7 weeks ago, I was in Istanbul in Turkey, and they had a Thai restaurant. I went there with my friends, and it was very good Thai food, but I don't know if it was very good, authentic Thai food.
Yeah.
Because in a city like Istanbul, Turkey, it was the only Thai restaurant in that city. So
Uh,
really, they can say anything, and who can say no? It's not Thai,
yeah.
right? I mean, there are
Yeah.
very very few Thai people in Istanbul. But so the Blue Elephant, okay, very interesting. I want to see if this is maybe there's one near me. Uh, oh, they
Yeah.
have one in Ohio actually. Ohio is kind of far from me, but it is. They do have branches in the United States then also, it seems.
Yeah. I think they also have a branch in Chicago.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me look it up. Maybe I'll go there sometime. Chicago. Oh, it actually says it's closed.
Yeah.
It's on Magnolia Avenue and Lakewood Avenue, downtown Chicago. Okay, very good location, but seems like it is closed, unfortunately. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe somebody went there, Eka, and said this is not authentic Thai food.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. Heidi, what about you? If before going on a trip or before going to a new restaurant, do you go online to read reviews?
checking restaurant online.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I've never checked before going abroad.
Mm-hmm. So only when you go abroad is when you check?
No, sometimes I ask some hotel clerk.
Uh-huh. Somebody who works in the hotel knows the
Yeah,
neighborhood. Yeah. But for example, let's say somebody in Osaka tells you, "Hey Heidi, there's this fantastic Thai restaurant, right?
I don't
You
know.
you
I
have to
don't know.
try.
I
You
don't
have
know
to try it.
any idea about the Thai food.
But you have to try it, right?
Actually, I don't know.
Let's say somebody is that crazy. Would you
Mm.
want to? Would you just believe them, or would you maybe look online? Hey, what are other people saying?
No, I don't have any idea. I know about the Korean town in Osaka,
Mm-hmm.
but no Thailand town.
Mm-hmm.
Chinatown or Korean town, I know.
Yeah. No, there are Chinatowns, I think, everywhere in the
Yeah.
U.S. also. So they're very, very popular areas. So yeah, so Heidi doesn't really look at online reviews, but Eka looks at a ton of online reviews. Eka is always on TripAdvisor, which is good, right? I think I fall somewhere in the middle. So if somebody tells me, for example, that they really like a place, and if they are a good friend of mine, then I will probably go without looking online. But if it's something that I am planning, I like to go online. So if I am planning something for my friends, I don't want it to be a bad place. I don't want it to be, I want to consult as many reviews as possible before I go. So I have been on TripAdvisor, on Yelp. We'll look at Yelp today. Yelp is a very popular website in the
I don't
United
read it
States.
guidebook.
You don't read any guidebooks?
Yeah. Once I went to the restaurant looking at the guidebook, but I was very disappointed.
Really?
Yeah.
So, yeah, guidebooks I don't use either because when they're published, who knows, the company, who knows, right? They might have particular, I don't know, they might have issues with how they choose what they choose. but internet reviews are mostly pretty okay, you know. People are going and people are saying, "Oh, I just went here yesterday with my family. My mother really loved the food. They have good parking. They have make sure you try the dessert." You know, people say things like that, right? And it's like you're talking to somebody else, so it makes it a little bit more personal.
Maybe asking the local people is much better.
Hmm. That's a good idea too. I think definitely. If you know somebody, like in the hotel, or if you can ask a few people that live nearby, I think that's also a really good way to do it. Yeah. Um, so, guys, let us take a look at the grammar topic for today. So we are looking at the present perfect tense. Okay. So when we look at the present perfect, what are we talking about? The present perfect is when we are discussing something that has happened,
If
right?
something happened, then predict something.
Exactly, right? If something is happening,
Not the hypothetical.
exactly, right?
Exactly will happen.
Exactly. It's used for things that have occurred, right? Things that have happened. And actually using have happened itself, that phrase, is an example of the present perfect, right? Have happened is an example of the present perfect. So how do we make the present perfect? The present perfect, there are three ways to make this construction, to make this sentence, right? The first example is if we take the subject. It could be me, you, Eka, Heidi, Jenny, I, whatever. Has or have, depending, right? So I have, he has, she has, we have, you have, right? Whatever the situation. Subject plus the verb his or have, and then another verb in the past participle form, right? In the past participle form. So that's what's important when we make this construction, right? And we are talking about things that have happened. It's not a hypothetical situation. It's not probability. It's not chance. We are discussing things that actually have happened. And so, you know, something that happened just that you have had
Or
in the
some
past.
experience, right? Some
Exactly.
experience or something started or before. Now I'm keeping it.
Exactly, right? So something is continuing from the past, and that started in the past is happening now and will probably continue into the future a little bit, right? As far as we know. So there are three ways that we use the past, the present perfect, right? The first is to talk about an experience that we've had in the past, right? Something that has happened in the past, that we have experienced in the past, right? For example, I have tried pad thai, right? I have tried pad thai before in a Thai restaurant, right? So I have had. Have is the verb, and then had is the past participle, right? I have had Thai food. So give me an example, Eka, of another way to use this construction.
I have eaten Thai food for more than 25 years.
I have eaten Thai food for more than 25 years. Fantastic,
Yeah.
right? And Heidi, how would you say something in that with a similar construction?
I've eaten lunch, so now I'm full.
I have eaten lunch, so now I'm full, right? Fantastic. So talking about something that has happened in the past, right? And then the second way that we use the present perfect is talk about new information or a change, right? So if we talk about a change that based on something that has occurred, then we can use the present perfect, right? For example, he has bought a new car, right? He has bought a new car. This is a change, something that he didn't have recently, right? He has bought a new car. Another example is Heidi has broken her arm.
Yeah, I wanted to say so.
Oh, I'm sorry. I stole it. I stole it from Heidi. Okay, so Heidi has broken her arm is another example, right? It happened recently. It wasn't something a month ago or whatever, right? It's a new experience that has happened, right? So Heidi, why don't you go now? You can use the same example if you want. Yeah.
Okay. My sister's family had gone back to Germany.
My sister and her family have gone back to Germany,
Yeah.
right? Fantastic. Eka, give me another example of something like this. New information or a change.
Okay. I have joined Colingo lately.
I have joined Colingo lately, right?
Yes.
Fantastic, right? Or you can even, instead of saying lately, you can also say recently, right?
Okay. I have
I,
joined Colingo recently.
or, you can say I have joined Colingo recently, or I have recently joined Colingo.
Okay.
Both of those would work, yeah. I have recently joined Colingo.
Okay. I have recently joined Colingo.
Yeah, fantastic, right? So those are great ways of thinking about that. And so the third example, the third time that we use the present perfect is when we are talking about something, this is what Heidi was saying, something that started in the past, is happening now, and will probably continue into the future, right? Started in the past, currently happening, and probably we don't really think that it's going to change, even in the future. It'll stay the same, right? So, for example, I can say Heidi has lived in Osaka since 2000, right? I don't actually know, but Heidi has lived in Osaka for many years, right? And it doesn't matter if, it's 10 years or 15 years or 5 years, right? It started in the past. It's currently the case. Heidi is still living in Osaka, and I don't think it's going to change. I think Heidi will still live in Osaka in the future, right? So that's one example. Another example is we can say, for example, we use this for work, or for example, if you're talking about your life, right? I have worked for this company for 7 years, right? Eka has studied English for 2 years, right? So these are all ways of using the past participle. The present perfect, excuse me, the present perfect. Something started in the past is continuing now and will probably continue into the future. So Eka, give me another example. I used your example again to say 2 years.
Yeah. Let me think on it.
Sure.
I uh, I I have learned cooking for 2 years.
I have been cooking for 2 years, right?
Uh, yes, but when I said it, I said I have learned cooking for 2 years. This
I ha
does it work?
you said I haven't cooked for 2 years?
Uh, I have been.
I have been cooking for 2 years, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect, yeah.
Okay.
It's something that you're saying, uh, that you are currently doing, right? Um, the only aspect of that, though, is I'm trying to think if that violates something. I'm trying to think of the rule here. Um, so this is actually an example of the present perfect progressive. The
Yes.
present perfect progressive, right? Because you're saying, Eka, that you have been cooking. And I'm glad you bring this up because this is actually the next part of our lesson. It's not an example of pure present perfect. It's an example of present perfect progressive, right? Because with present perfect progressive, the action is still continuing in that we are saying that it is, we are stressing the fact that the action is still continuing up to the present, right? Normal present perfect, if we are, is just, there's no stress on the fact that it's still happening. It's just assumed that it's still happening, right? So for example, Eka has lived in Bangkok for over 25 years, right?
Yeah.
So there's no stress. Okay, Eka has been living there, no problems. He will probably live there next year, and 2 years from now, and 3 years from now. But when we use the present perfect progressive like you did, where we have the subject, has, have, been, and then a verb that ends in ing, right? So I have been cooking. That is the present perfect progressive, and it puts a little bit more focus on that continuous action.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's still, I mean, that's a great example. It was going to be the next thing that I talk about, and it's a very good way to transition into that. But so Heidi, before I get to the present perfect progressive, could you give me another example of something that
Okay.
present perfect? Yeah.
I'm married for over 15 years.
So I have been married for over
Been
15
married
years.
for over 15 years.
Exactly, right? I have been married for over 15 years. Congratulations, that's great. My parents, how long have they been married? I think my parents have been married for, God, I have no idea. Maybe 30 years or much longer. I am
Congratulations.
1985, 28 years. Yeah, it's a long, long time. Anyway, guys, any questions so far on the present perfect? So three uses, right? The first use is when we are talking about something that has happened in the past, right? The second use of present perfect is to say that we are new information, that we have new information that we want to talk about, right? Eka has bought a new house. Heidi has broken her arm, right? Um, and the third example was to talk about something that started in the past, is currently happening, and will probably continue into the future, right? So that's present perfect. And the construction is always the same. It's the subject plus has or have, and then the past participle, right? And then, what about the present perfect progressive? This is what Eka brought up, right? Present perfect progressive, the action is continuing the action is continuing up to the present, and we are stressing this, right? And the construction is what we have over there. The subject, has, have, been, and then a verb that ends in ing. Eka, can you give us another example of the present perfect progressive since you introduced it to us?
Yes. We have been talking to each other for half an hour.
Fantastic. We have been talking to each other for a half an hour, right? And Heidi, what about you? Give us another example.
I've been teaching Japanese since April.
I've been teaching Japanese since April, right? Fantastic. You're stressing the fact that even though the action started in the past, it is continuing to the present, right? I have been teaching. You could have also said, I have taught Japanese since April. But if you say, I have been teaching, there's more stress, right? So that's the difference between present perfect and present perfect progressive, right? Any questions, guys, of what we talked about? This is the grammar part, so I wanted to make sure we understand it before we continue.
I understand both of them.
Okay, fantastic, Eka, thanks. And Heidi, you're okay too?
Yeah.
Okay, great, fantastic. So let's look at the article, guys. We're just going to jump into the article, and let's see what we have today. So we talked about reviews, right? We talked about these websites where people can write reviews, and Eka knows about them a lot because Eka goes to TripAdvisor, for example, is one example. And Eka, I'll mention to you because this is the first time you're in my class. This website that I'm using for this article is npr.org, National Public Radio. I'm not sure if you have heard of this website before, but it is an extremely good website for news and for practicing English. So they have a lot of audio lectures, they have a lot of radio programs, and their articles are very, very, very well written. So if you want to read about news and articles, I would highly suggest npr.org. So it's a very good resource, yeah. CNN and BBC is okay, but most of the American channels, CNN, ABC, I don't consider them to be news. They're very low quality. But NPR is very high quality, in my opinion. So I'm also going to screen share, guys, so you guys can see my screen. And I'm going to jump to this article now. So can we all see the article?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. So it says, fake reviewers get 0 stars from New York Attorney General. Attorney General is a very high post in a city or in a state or in a district in the United States. There is usually a person who is an Attorney General who is the chief lawyer, right? Really kind of considered to be the chief lawyer and is a person who has a lot of power, right? So let's take a look. This is the website that they're focusing on. It's called Yelp.com, and there are a lot of reviews on Yelp, mainly for restaurants, right? No doubt most of you reading this post have looked at Yelp or Google Plus Local to check the user reviews before you tried that fish store, bakery, or even dentist. On occasion, you may have wondered if some of those reviews were too good to be true. It turns out that some of them were. New York's Attorney General revealed the results of a year-long investigation into the business of fake reviews. Eric T. Schneiderman announced Monday that 19 companies that engaged in the practice will stop and pay fines between $2,500 and $100,000 for a total of more than $350,000 in penalties. Schneiderman said his office used undercover agents. One agent, posing as the owner of a yogurt shop in Brooklyn, called up search engine optimization companies and asked for help in combating negative reviews on consumer websites. In many cases, the agent was told that they would write fake positive reviews for a fee. One of the reputation companies required its freelancers to have was an established Yelp account. It's missing was an established Yelp account more than 3 months old, and at least 15 reviews and 10 Yelp friends. The jobs paid the false writers who lived as far away as Bangladesh, my country, and the Philippines between $1 and $10 per review, right? So these freelancers, right, are writing these reviews and they're living as far away as Bangladesh or the Philippines, and they're getting paid between $1 and $10 for every review that they write. The investigation also uncovered businesses that did their own reputation management. For example, U.S. Coachways, a charter bus company on Staten Island, had its employees write positive reviews and offered $50 gift certificates to customers who would do the same, without requiring those customers to reveal the gift. I have personally taken U.S. Coachways, and if anybody talks positively about this bus, they are obviously lying. It is a horrible bus service, very, very bad quality.
Is it a cheap bus service?
Oh, extremely cheap, man. I mean, they can take you from New York City, Chinatown to Boston, Chinatown for $5. I mean, it's maybe 2.5 hours journey, or no, 3.5 hours journey for just $5, and the service is horrible. I mean, you're sitting in a very dirty bus with no Wi-Fi, not a very fun place. I know, it's a good question though. Ratings website Yelp says it welcomed the crackdown. However, the company has also been accused of manipulating reviews on its site by merchants who claim Yelp offered to move positive feedback closer to the top of the page for a payment. Yelp denies this, right? So Yelp is extremely popular. I'm always on Yelp, right? New restaurants, I always go to Yelp. Some of the business owners said that Yelp offered to move the positive feedback that they got to the top of the page if the restaurant would maybe pay Yelp some money. But Yelp, of course, doesn't agree to this. The practice of putting up fake positive reviews is called astroturfing, the 21st century version of false advertising, which is illegal. Prosecutors have many tools at their disposal to put an end to it, Schneiderman says. Business have a lot to gain from astroturfing. A highly cited Harvard Business School study from 2011 found that a 1-star rating increase on Yelp can translate into a 5% to 9% revenue growth for a restaurant. A Cornell study found that one extra star on TripAdvisor, Eka, this is your website, one extra star on TripAdvisor is tied to an average of an 11% rise in room rates for hotels. The research firm Gartner projects that by 2014, between 10 and 15% of online reviews will be fake. It's hard to know what long-term effects this crackdown and similar law enforcement will have on that number. Among the 19 companies that are part of the New York Attorney General's agreement are search engine optimization companies Zamdell Inc., hair removal business Laser Cosmetica, and New York City's Metamorphosis Day Spa. Very interesting, extremely interesting conversation, and I think very relevant to us living in the 21st century world of astroturfing, right? Very interesting way that they labeled that practice, astroturfing. So let me ask you, Eka, does this change the way you'll be looking at TripAdvisor?
No, it will not, because most of the time I don't use just trip advisors, but I also search on some Thai local websites for the same place or same destination, same restaurants, before I make a decision if I want to go to that place or not.
Mm-hmm. Generally, have these experiences been successful experiences for you, Eka? Like maybe have these restaurants, have you been disappointed after going to one of them besides the Blue Elephant?
Um, Blue Elephant is the only restaurant that failed me.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So these websites that you go to, they seem to be very reliable then.
Yes.
Right, that's awesome. Heidi, what do you think about this article? Does it change anything about how you will research restaurants in the future?
I think you mute your microphone.
Yeah. Heidi, are you there?
I'm sorry, I'm muted.
No worries. Go ahead.
Yeah, if I go to America, it's worth to check.
Uh-huh. So
Before,
you would check if you're in
before
the
I
US.
went to America, that time we checked a lot of websites. For
Mm-hmm.
example, I wanted to stay in an apartment, so I checked that a lot of website,
Mm-hmm.
almost all hotels, but I wanted to stay apartment. So finally I found, but that apartment is not good.
Really? So what did you do?
We stayed that place for 2 weeks.
Oh, wow. But it wasn't that good an experience, was it?
Yeah, and
So,
I had a reservation in the Broadway musical,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so I can check only one website. It's very convenient.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of thinking about it, right? Because some websites and some places do allow the ability to maybe uh, you can even write a complaint, right? Like let's say you go to the website and it says, you know, were you satisfied with the reviews? You can say no, I was not. You know, this rating should be changed. Or I guess one of the things that makes this really good is when you came back to Osaka, did you write on that apartment's website that they were not a good place?
Yeah, but that apartment was advertised advertised by that just a person, the owner.
Hmm. So it
So
wasn't something online.
I can't say anything.
Yeah, unfortunately, right? But it is one of those things that definitely there is some potential to introduce if we want to mention, you know,
Yeah,
just like there are fake reviewers, you can be a very honest but very loud reviewer, right?
yeah,
If you want to really tell people, stay away from this restaurant, you can write a very long review and you can share it with your friends. You can go to every website, depending on how powerful you or how strongly you feel, right?
For
Um,
example, bed, about bed, and
mhm.
for long years, many people use the same bed. So bed has a kind of human shape.
Really?
Yeah,
That's nasty. That's disgusting.
yeah.
Like
So
that is
once I lie down that bed, I can move to other place.
unbelievable. That is inexcusable, especially in New York City. I mean, I know so many people that are so much nicer. They would be. We love tourists in New York City. I can't believe that they would say something like that, and you know, the guy would give you a place that was not good at all. In any case, I guess the past is the past, right? That trip was. How long ago was that trip?
Pardon?
How long ago was this trip to New York?
Um, staying at that place.
Yeah, or I mean, yeah, like how many years ago did you go to New
Ah,
York?
10 years ago.
10 years ago. Okay, so it's been a
After
long
terror
time.
attack. It's just after terror attack.
Oh yeah, you told me about that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Great. So yeah, hopefully things have changed, between then and now. Um, Eka, I have a question for you. So, do you think it's more dangerous to study or to rely on online reviews if you're in a foreign city?
Yes, I think so because if I were in a foreign city, then I may not understand the culture or the language that people use in that city, and it would be hard to find a good review or the real review on the websites.
Mm-hmm. So what would you do, Eka? Let's say tomorrow morning I bring you to New York City,
Okay.
okay? And then I tell you, hey, Eka, I'm sorry, I have to go back to Madison. Good luck, have fun, right? What would you do? How would you know? Well, where do I eat? Where do I stay? I mean, what would be your resource?
In that case, I would prefer to fast food restaurants, for example, KFC or McDonald's.
Really?
Yeah, and then I will talk to New Yorkers about where should I go, where should I find the hotels, which restaurant should I go visit.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And if anybody knows anything about New York, we might have crazy traffic. We do have some crazy people, but the normal New Yorkers are extremely nice. We will do anything for our tourists and for new people. So you can go to any part of New York City and you can ask. For example, if you're in Manhattan, you can ask somebody on the street, "Hey, what's a good Indian restaurant?" And they'll tell you, "Oh, go this way, make a right." And for a Thai restaurant, also, I mean, many, many, many places. So that's great. So you would go to the local resource, obviously, right? You would go to the New Yorkers themselves.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good idea. So, Heidi, do you think similarly? It seemed maybe you have an opposite idea, maybe, because you said if you were going to the US, then you would be looking at reviews. But do you think it's more dangerous to look at to trust reviews if it's a foreign city?
No, I've never experienced some dangerous scene in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. I once I visited a coffee shop. The owner was Italian. He
Mm-hmm.
came from Sicily. That time I could speak only Italian, so the owner and me talked too long.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he was very glad, and he showed me a lot of photos when while he was staying in Sicily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a lot of Italians in New York City. A lot. I mean, historically speaking, I think Italians are some of the most successful immigrants in the U.S. They have a lot of businesses. They have the mafia. I mean, they have Sicilians control the mafia.
Yes, that's right.
They have.
Italian coffee is very delicious, you know.
Oh yeah, of course. Italian food is amazing. Pasta and gnocchi and lasagna and parmesan and mozzarella. You
Yeah, and
know,
authentic cappuccino.
cappuccino. Yeah, absolutely. It's great, great stuff. Italian is beautiful. Italian is a beautiful language. Italian food is really beautiful and really amazing. Uh, so how about this then, guys? Let me go to the next question. Do you think, how can these businesses, right? So this article was talking about, we have some businesses are being charged maybe a couple of $1,000s. Others are being charged $100,000 fine because they hired these fake reviewers to review their businesses, right? How do you think? Let's say, Eka, let's say that tomorrow morning you find out that your favorite Thai restaurant has paid people in like Phuket, in Cambodia, in Laos, in America, in Canada to write fake reviews for them, right? Even though you love the restaurant, you go there, you love the food, it's authentic Thai food, they have asked people to write fake reviews. Would your trust in that restaurant go down?
No, it wouldn't go down because if I go to a restaurant, all I care is about food. If the food tastes good, then I don't care if they pay a lot of money on advertising to a company to write lots of fake reviews on the website. It's all
Really?
about food. Yes,
That's awesome. So your consideration is food and just food,
yes, that's right.
right? Doesn't matter if they spend millions of dollars sending to people so that they can write reviews for them.
No, it doesn't matter to me.
Uh-huh. What in a general sense though, right? Let's say, do you consider that to be something that can be damaging to a business if their customers find out that they have been doing this fake stuff?
Yes, I would say to hire some companies to write fake reviews on the website would damage or destroy their brand.
Hmm.
Uh, but uh, but for I would say for most Thais, we usually don't care as long as the food is good.
Yeah. That's great. It's a good way of thinking about it, right? But Eka, how would you, let's say you are the business owner, right? Let's say you paid a guy in Canada $200 to write an article on TripAdvisor that was fake, right? 100% fake. How would you, what would be your strategy to regain the trust of your customers? What could you do? Because maybe some of your customers are very angry, right? They see that your food is okay, they come, you know, one customer comes and says, he comes to your restaurant and he leaves because he hates it. But he says that the review was really good, right? And now everybody knows that you are using fake reviews. How could you repair your reputation?
Uh, that's going to be hard. Maybe I would let people to come to my restaurant for free for one day and ask them to write uh, review after they finish eating food at my restaurant on the website, and I may use Google Hangout to broadcast it in real time. So most people on the internet can see that the people who actually come to my restaurant write the real review on the websites and hopefully by doing that I would gain some trust back from my customers.
Yeah, I love that idea. I love that idea of opening a restaurant one day, everybody can come and eat for free,
Yeah.
right? Maybe even you can make it one day free, the next day maybe half off,
Yes.
right? just to be able to gain more people to appreciate your business. Maybe even make it 1 week where everything is half off, right?
Yes.
Just so you're making some money, but you're regaining that trust, right? And it's something that is very important. And I like the idea you mentioned Google Hangouts as well, so that you can broadcast that information in real time, and people are commenting. So you would use the internet to save your reputation.
Yes, for sure. Because I I destroyed my reputation on the internet, so I would use the internet to gain it back.
Yeah, that's a good way of thinking about it, right? Use the
Yes,
same tool for both bad and good.
yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Heidi, what would you do? Let's say you are the owner of a restaurant, right? Let's say you sell sushi, and you have a sushi bar, you have a sake bar, you have hibachi, right? And everybody comes to your restaurant. Some people like it, some people hate it, but you paid a guy in Morocco, right? $300 to write a amazing review. Okay,
Mm.
Heidi is the best restaurant owner in Japan, in Osaka. Even though she has a broken arm, her sushi is delicious, right? So, and now people find out that you lied and this guy is fake. He never came to Osaka even. What could you do to rebuild your reputation to gain the trust?
I don't say any excuse. I don't say anything. I can do it only do my job honestly.
Hmm. And how would you do that?
At first, maybe I lose a lot of customers, but if my sushi is very delicious and quite cheap, maybe customers return to my shop, my restaurant.
So you think your loyal customers wouldn't care? Maybe, right? The people that always come, they know your food, so they probably wouldn't care,
Hmm.
right?
But I can think about the long term.
Yeah.
1 year or 2 year later, maybe many customers increase in my restaurant if I
Hmm.
offer the very good sushi.
Hmm. And what could you do maybe as a way to, like, for example, Eka was saying, maybe open the restaurant for free 1 day just to
Mm.
invite the community. Would you do something like that?
No, nothing.
You would just work on your own honest food.
Yes, yes, that's right.
Nice, nice. I think that's a good approach. Eka, do you think that would work? Do you think that's a good approach?
Mm. I don't think it would work in Thailand, but it may work in Japan.
Really? What makes the situation different in Thailand?
In Thailand, if we trust a restaurant so much, and then we find out later that the restaurant did something bad, so some people would be so angry at the restaurant, and they might not even give the second chance to the restaurant.
Really?
Yes.
What about the food thing you said before, though? That if it's good food, people don't care.
It depends on how bad the restaurant did.
Mm-hmm.
If it's just a fake review on the website, that is not a big problem. But if it for example they have dirty kitchen, it might be a big problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a dirty kitchen would be a disaster,
Yes.
right? I mean, you're coming to eat and the food is not even clean,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I think that's a disaster anywhere. Um, anyway, guys, we are at the end of class, unfortunately. Do we have any questions? Eka, thanks for joining so much. I loved our conversation, by the way. I think it was really good.
Thank you.
Um, do you have any questions, either of you guys, Eka, Heidi, about the present perfect? So we looked at the three examples, right? Something that has happened in the past. The second type was new information, and the third type is something that started in the past, is continuing now, and will probably continue into the future. And then the second thing we looked at was the present perfect progressive. And the present perfect progressive, the stress is on the action continuing into the present, right? So those were the grammar points that we covered. And then we talked about these reviews and all of these other aspects of astroturfing and the relationship that has. So any questions on that, Eka? Did you have anything you wanted to add or ask?
Uh, yes, I have one comment. It would be great if you let me and Andy read the article on the link so we can practice read aloud.
Yeah, did you get the article link in the side window?
Yes, I got it, but I mean to read it in the lesson.
Oh, to read it in the lessons, as
Yeah,
in read the whole thing?
yes, just like that.
Oh, okay, yeah. This is something that I'll do in all the classes, actually. I'll make sure I read the article from beginning to end.
Uh, no, I mean, I would prefer the 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 student to read it.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Yes,
for the student to read.
yes,
Oh,
yes, that's right.
yeah. That's a good idea. Uh, do you want to start with this one right now? I have time. We can read it if you would like.
Yes, sure.
Sure, yeah. Go ahead. Let's open it up. Let's start reading from the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, no doubt, most of you reading this post have looked at Yelp or Google Glass logo to check the user reviews before you try that fish store, bakery, or even dentist. On occasion, you may have wondered if some of those reviews were too good to be true.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out that some of them were. New York's Attorney General reviewed the results of a year-long investigation into the business of fake reviews. Eric T. Schneiderman announced,
Schneiderman. Uh-huh. Yeah.
uh,
It's a very long name.
Schneiderman, yes,
Yeah.
Eric T. Schneiderman announced Monday that 19 companies that engaged in the practice will stop and pay fines between $2,500 and $100,000 for a total more than 350,000 penalties.
Mm-hmm.
Schneiderman said his office used undercover agents, one agent posing as the owner of a yogurt shop in Brooklyn, called up search engine optimization companies and asked for help in combating negative reviews on consumer websites. In many cases, the agent was told that they would write fake positive reviews for a fee.
Yeah.
Uh,
You're doing a great job
one,
so far. Yeah.
yes.
Uh-huh. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, one of the reputation companies required is freelancers to have an established Yelp account more than 3 months old and at least 50 reviews and 10 Yelp friends. The jobs paid the four writers who lived as far away as Bangladesh and the Philippines between $1 and $10 per review. The investigation also uncovered businesses that did their own reputation management. For example, U.S. Coachways, a shatter bus company on Staten Island, had its employees write positive reviews and offered $15 gift certificates to customers who would do the same, without requiring those customers to reveal the gift. Rating website Yelp says it welcomed the crackdown. However, the company has also been accused for manipulating reviews on its website by merchants who claim Yelp offered to move positive review closer to the top of the page for payment. Yelp denies this. The practice of putting up fake positive reviews is called astroturfing,
Mm-hmm.
the 21st century version of false advertising, which is illegal. Prosecutors have many tools at their disposal to put an end to it. Schneiderman says businesses have a lot to gain from astroturfing, a highly cited a Harvard Business School study from 2011 found that a one-star rating increase on Yelp can translate into a 5% to 9% revenue growth for a restaurant. A Cornell study found that one extra star on TripAdvisor is tied to an average of 11% rise in room rates of for hotels.
Hmm.
The research firm Gartner projects that by 2014, between 10 and 15% of online reviews will be fake. It's hard to know what long-term effects this crackdown and similar law enforcement will have on that number. Among the 19 companies that are part of the New York Attorney General agreement, search engine optimization company Sunday Incorporation and removal business Laser Cosmetica and New York City's Metamorphosis Day Spa.
Fantastic. You did a great job with that.
Okay, thank you.
No, that's awesome. Now, I think the really cool thing too is I'm going to talk to some of my colleagues at Colingo, and I want to make this something that we can actually do as a class. I think that would be a really good idea because so far we have really the idea was that the person teaching would do the reading, but I think it makes a lot of sense for you guys to share. Maybe one person reads one paragraph, the next person reads the next paragraph, right?
Yes, yes. I think it would be great if you could do that.
Yeah, no, I will definitely try to do that. At least in my classes, I want to start making that something that maybe we can do all the time.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, awesome. Eka, thanks a lot. It's whenever you guys have any feedback, opinions, just like Yelp reviews, you guys can always review Colingo with me or with any of the other teachers. We are always looking for more information. This company is very new. Colingo is very new, so we want to do our very best to make it the best possible resource for you guys since you are on this journey to learn English.
Yes. All right.
So, yeah, let us know. Eka, it was a pleasure. I hope you can join me again in classes. If you check my schedule, I have 2 hours of classes tomorrow as well. And then every day after that, I will have multiple hours, 1 or 2 hours of class. So feel free to join whenever you find time.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. I enjoyed this lesson, and I hope you have a great evening in the US, right?
awesome. Thank you so much, Eka. I wish you have a great day in Thailand.
Yes. Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Take care, Eka. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. You guys are here, so let me start with the question that I had for this lesson. So, in this lesson, we are looking at the present perfect, right? But before we get to that, the topic that we're going to be discussing, one of the things that we really focus on in this digital age, right? In this digital age of websites and reviews and emails and Facebook, social media, one of the biggest things that restaurants and businesses and shopping centers and really anything that wants to have popularity, right, now goes online, right? If you want to be popular, if you want to have a business that is popular, you would want to have some kind of a presence on the internet, right? So have you guys, maybe before going to a restaurant, before going to a new city, a new hotel, a new part of the country, or even just to go shopping, have you guys ever visited websites to read reviews of what other people say about those places? Eka, have you ever seen that?
Yes, and I always do that. Most of the time, I just go to TripAdvisor and search for the restaurant name or the place that I plan to go. But most of the time, I agree with the reviews on the website, but sometimes I totally disagree with it,
Hmm.
especially the last time that I tried to find the best Thai restaurant in Bangkok, and when I went there, Thai food there was not authentic Thai food.
Really?
Yeah. Hello.
Hey, hey, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, I'm doing well, thanks. How do I pronounce your name?
You can call me Egg.
Ek?
Yes.
How's it going, Ek?
It's going okay.
Awesome. Where are you
uh,
from?
I'm from Thailand. I just finished my breakfast and have this class.
Oh, fantastic. Welcome to class.
Yeah.
That's great.
And
What part? Go ahead.
what's your name?
You were watching it?
No, I mean, what's your name?
Oh, my name is Farhan.
Farhan.
Farhan, yeah.
Uh,
What part of Thailand do you live in?
I live in Bangkok, the capital of Thailand.
Yeah, it's a great city. I've heard a lot about it.
Have you ever
Uh,
been to Thailand?
I've never been to Thailand, no, unfortunately. But I've heard great things. I've heard about. I mean, I really enjoy Thai food, but I haven't visited Thailand, unfortunately. Thai food actually is very popular here, so a lot of people know about it.
And which part of the US are you living in?
So I live in a city called Madison. Madison is in the state of Wisconsin. So I'm about 2.5 hours from Chicago. So Chicago is really the nearest big city for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's awesome, Eka. Or Ek, I'm really glad to have you in my class. And how long have you been studying English on Colingo?
This is my second week. Yeah.
Nice. So,
But before I joined Colingo, I have been studying English for almost 2 years.
wow, that's great. I think your English is really good.
Yeah. But my main obstacle is I always feel nervous when I talk to a native speaker.
Uh-huh. No, you don't have to feel nervous here. If you're in my class, you just feel 100% relaxed.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
try.
Yeah, no worries. One of the things that, for me, whenever English, I didn't have to learn I learned English from my parents. It wasn't difficult for me, but for other languages, I learned other languages in high school, in college, in the university level, and I had the same problem. I mean, I would feel very nervous at the beginning, for example, talking to a native speaker. Are they going to understand me? Are they going to be able to give me an answer? Am I saying everything correctly? Right? Um, we have the same. Everybody who starts with a new language and starts to speak in that new language has those problems at the beginning. So it's nothing Cambodian or Burmese, or is it different script?
I would say it is similar to Cambodia and Laos.
Uh-huh, Cambodian laws, but not to Burmese.
No, not it's not similar to Burmese.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. That's great. I saw a Thai movie called Ong Bak.
Ah, yeah, Hong Bak.
Everybody knows, I think, Ong Bak, but it was very funny. At the beginning of when I was first watching the movie, I didn't realize that it was from Thailand. I thought maybe it was from Vietnam or another country. And then when my friend was there, my friend speaks Thai, so he told me, "No, man, you're crazy. This is Thailand." And
Okay.
it was a great movie. I mean, Muay Thai is it popular in Thailand or is it just something in the movies?
It's Muay Thai is popular for foreigners, but it's not popular for Thais.
Hmm. What do native Thai people practice?
Uh, most of us just like shopping and learning English.
Nice. So not a big focus on the martial arts then.
No, for us, Muay Thai is considered an old-fashioned martial art, and we don't like it.
Oh, really? Wow, that's interesting. It's great to get that perspective from someone who lives in their country because if you asked a normal American, they probably would think that Muay Thai is very popular everywhere in Thailand.
I know
Yeah,
that's not true.
yeah, yeah. Hey Heidi, welcome back.
Hello, nice to see you again.
Yeah, well, nice to see you as well. And let's see. So I'll give us a couple more minutes, but actually, you to be nervous about. Trust me.
Okay,
Yeah.
and how many languages do you speak?
I speak four languages. I can understand two more, but I speak four fluently.
Uh, so,
Yeah.
and would you call yourself polyglot?
I would. I mean, I guess I can become. I think I'm a polyglot because uh, speaking, writing, reading, understanding, I can do four languages. So I think that's a polyglot level. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's for languages is a lot.
Yeah, sometimes honestly I get confused because for example, with my parents I speak in one language. With my friends I speak in English. Some of them I speak in Spanish. I have lots of Spanish friends. And then with my girlfriend I speak in Farsi, which is the language of Iran. And also we speak in English and we speak in, I mean, everything is a mix, you know? We don't have there's nobody that I speak to besides my parents. There's nobody that I speak in just one language with.
Okay.
Everybody else is a mix. So that's it's actually really fun to have that situation. But Thai is one of my professors in university was a specialist in Thai language. She studied in Bangkok, I think, and she lived in Thailand for a few years. It's a very interesting language. I like the way you guys write Thai is a very unique script, right?
Yes, that's right.
Is it similar to Cambodia?